This is Hallie. I had a request. Someone wanted to see my other kitty. She does like sitting in laps, but she will hurt my lap because she gets so happy. She claws the crap out of your legs. So I just thought I'd show you guys. Say hi, Hallie. Meow, meow, meow. And then I'm going to put her down because she'll distract me while I do the video. And there you go. Anyway, hat day. Hair is atrocious. I did yard work, so... Anyway, back to the trip. I think we were just talking about Rakvere. So after that, we headed west on our way to Saaremaa, which is one of the islands that, there's a lot of islands off the coast of Estonia. And Saaremaa is the biggest one, I think. And on our way, now this is one of the things I'm not too clear about until I look at my pictures, because my pictures in my photo album are pretty much in the order that they happened. And so sometimes I just get confused because I'm using our old itinerary to loosely remind me of when we did certain things. And then, but it's not completely true because the itinerary was typed before we went on the trip. So some of the things didn't happen and then other things did happen that weren't on the itinerary. Anyway, I believe that on our way to Saaremaa, we went to visit Veljo Tormis, which Veljo Tormis is a very famous composer in Estonia. He's amazing. He writes fantastic music. Some of it is original and some of it is just, I think he was one of the first ones to start writing down some of the national songs that had just been sung for years, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years. No one had ever written them down, so he actually started to dictate them. He's done just some really amazing things, and we were singing quite a few of his songs of all the songs that we were singing over there and all the concerts. And so we got to go visit him at his summer home. And I know that sounds fancy, but a lot of people in Estonia have a summer home, but it's not a fancy thing. It's kind of like the equivalent of having a cabin, like a little rustic cabin or something. And it's just, and usually a family will share, like, you know, aunts and uncles, like all the brothers and sisters and the grandparents or something will share it and like rotate or all be there at the same time. So anyway, we got to go to see Tormis, and his beach house was actually pretty cool. We didn't go inside or anything, but the whole area around it, it was near the beach, of course, beach house. And we had to walk down this really long driveway to get to it. Our bus wasn't going to fit down the driveway, so we all had to pile out of the bus and walk. And he was there waiting for us, and we got to sing him a concert with his songs. Of course, we sang some of the songs that were his out of our songbook, and then just got to sit in a kind of visit with him. He doesn't speak English, so we didn't really get to talk to him, but through our guide Helle, she was kind of like translating things back and forth for us. And there's a picture of him in there. He kind of reminds me of he doesn't look like Santa Claus, but like maybe a Northern European Santa Claus or something. I'm not really sure, but he was a really sweet man. And we just got to hang out at his place and kind of hang out on the little beach there, chill out. And then on our way, we went back, got on the bus, and then got on our way to Saaremaa. And of course, it's an island, so we had to take a ferry. And the ferry to Saaremaa didn't seem that long just because we were all excited and we're all, woohoo, you know, happy, fun time. When we got to Saaremaa, we were going to be camping. And I do this because when I think of camping, I think of being in a tent, but this was actually in cabins, like little rustic cabins that fit like 2 beds or 4 beds or something, but it was like split in half, so 2 different rooms. And so this was a place where we could split off and stay with different people, but Teresa and I just stayed together again anyway. So I think we got settled, sorry, itchy forehead. I think we got settled in the cabins first. And we actually had 3 members of our choir that couldn't stay the whole time. And so they hadn't been there. They didn't fly to Estonia with us. This is when they arrived. They could only stay for 2 weeks of our 30-day trip. And so they arrived when we got to Saaremaa, and they met us there. And I didn't really realize that. And so I was so excited because it was our friend Diane, our friend Reed, who made some really cool recordings. Like he had a little mini recorder of the concerts that he was singing in, and he held it under his music folder like while we were singing, and so I actually have audio recordings of a lot of our stuff. Really awesome. And then my friend Lance, who I was so happy to see. He was my buddy, Sir Lancelot, not the real one, but we all call him Lancelot. So But I was so happy to see him, and I was just grateful for a new face, because you get kind of sick of each other after a while. Even if there are 50 of you, you want something different. And it was just really nice. Lance and I went for a long walk on the beach, and I caught him up on the things that had happened, and just kind of prepared him for the state of things, because we'd all been kind of crazy so far. So anyway, we had a concert on Saaremaa in Kuressaare Castle, which was really pretty cool, I guess. I was honestly in a bad mood that day, so I didn't take any pictures of that. Sorry. And then we had some free time after that. And I think this is another one of those muddled detail things. I think this is when we got to go swimming for like 45 minutes in a lake or something. I don't really remember. I just remember we'd be on the bus, and then Lonnie'd be like, hey, we're going to a lake. Anybody that wants to go swimming? You have 45 minutes. So we're all like, swimsuits, and we'd go swimming. So we did that. Let's see. Losing my place here. So we spent 2 nights on Saaremaa. And one of those nights was Jaanituli, which is the summer solstice. And when you're that far north, the summer solstice is amazing, because the sun really it's set, but not really. I've never been to Alaska, which is where a lot of people call it the land of the midnight sun. I've never been there, but I've been to Estonia in the summer, and it's pretty freaking similar, I guess, because the sun it was like dusk, and it never changed from dusk, and then the sun started coming back up again. But we went to this place. It was like way out in the woods, and there was this huge party. I don't know if it was like the whole island of Saaremaa was there, and it was kind of close to the beach, but there was this giant bonfire, and there were food booths and drinks and those really cool swings that I told you about in the other Europe trip, which I do have a picture of one of them. And it was so much fun. And so we just sang and danced and drank and played all night long. And Jared and I actually hung out that whole night, which made me happy because I loved him. So that was a good night for me and lots of people. It was just really, really fun. And so the next day, because we stayed up all night long, and who knows, I don't even know what time it was. It wasn't dark, so I don't know. But the next day we left for Hiiumaa, which is another island, and it's a smaller one. But Hiiumaa was one of my favorite places that we went. Of course, hopped on another ferry. So how are you going to get a bus across the water? And so we get to Hiiumaa, and this is another one of those places where Lonnie, it seemed like we sang songs. We greeted people with songs. We sang songs at a restaurant to say thank you. We sang songs to say goodbye. We just sang songs for everything. I mean, we were a choir. But sometimes Lonnie would just hand us music. We had never seen it before, and we were a good choir, but we were still nervous about butchering local songs. And so when we get to Hiiumaa, we're on the bus again, on the ferry, about ready to drive off the ferry, and he hands out this music that's called Hiiumaa. It's like we were gonna greet people with this song. We're like, Lonnie, come on, man, because we just kind of muscled our way through that. It was rough. I felt terrible. But after that, we headed out to the place we were staying on Hiiumaa, which was this big lodge. And Hiiumaa's not very big. To give you an idea, at one point when we were sightseeing and we went to a lighthouse, which I'll tell you about in a minute, from the top of the lighthouse, you can see the whole circumference of the island. My phone is ringing. Shh, let's ignore it. Anyway, so we get to the lodge where we're staying on Hiiumaa, and it was split up. We could go stay with whoever we wanted, in the rooms again. But it was split up on, a lodge, regular looking lodge, really nice. And then, another building that had the sauna in it and the bar, I think. And then another set of, rooms. And so I don't even know where everybody went off to. I stayed in the big lodge building. It was really, really cool. And that's the building where we ate. In the basement area, we ate our breakfast and our lunch and stuff. So it was just a really beautiful area out in the country. Went for a walk with my friend Tara when we first got there and took some pictures of the most spectacular sunset. It's one of the most spectacular sunsets I've ever seen. There were some killer sunsets the whole time we were in Estonia, but on Hiiumaa in particular, it was really, really, really cool. So I don't remember us doing any concerts on Hiiumaa. I think it might have just been free time the whole time. I don't remember. because, again, we just kind of went where we were told. So we did get free time to, like, explore the island. And, of course, you know, we stopped at stores and stuff here and there, and there was a little place where I think it was a store. I got ice cream, so it must have been a store. And it was, like, windmills, more windmills. And so we took some pictures there. It was like a bathroom break, too. We got to split up. Some people got to go horseback riding. I grew up with horses, so I don't like to go horseback riding if there's other things I've never done before, because I can do that at home. And so I went to see the lighthouse with a group of people. And the lighthouse, like I said, is pretty much in the middle of the island. You can see the whole island from it. And it was just a really cool day. And to top off the lighthouse visit, it was time to, like, take down the flag off of it. And the guy that was there, I guess he was the lighthouse keeper, whoever was running it, let Jared and our friend Kevin take the flag down, and he let Kevin keep it. So I've got a couple of really cool pictures of Jared and Kevin, like, on top of the lighthouse, which is kind of freaky. And then at some point, we all went to a church, too, like some really cool old church, not to sing or anything, just, you know, a sightseeing thing. So that was really pretty nifty. I think I got a couple of pictures of that. So on Hiiumaa, I have to describe some of my favorite things there. This was a place where I got to just chill out a lot. It was really nice. And out in front, I have a picture of one of the swings. It's like the typical, you know, the pendulum looking, not pendulum, but the triangle swing that I've showed you from the last set of vlogs. So they had one there, and that was the first time I'd ever seen one, and it was really, really fun, and I have a cool picture of a bunch of us on it. But there was another swing thing that was like a bench here and a bench there, and a long, like, not a boardwalk, but it was like boards connecting them in between, and it was one big gliding swing, and it had like a roof, like a plexiglass roof over the top of it, so you could sit under there if it was raining. And one of the nights we were there, there was a freaking amazing lightning storm, and I love lightning storms. I think they're so cool. And so I grabbed my deck of cards that I brought with me to keep myself from going insane, and I went out there and I just played, I call it Chinese solitaire, I don't know what it is, but anyway, I went out there and played a card game and just sat there and watched the lightning storm, and pretty soon other people started coming out. They're like, what are you doing out here? And I said, lightning, it's so cool. So there's just a whole group of us, and we were just like mesmerized by this lightning, and it was pretty much like a panoramic view. So awesome. So that was a really cool thing. That was one of my favorite things. And another thing that I wouldn't say it was my favorite thing, but this is like one of the freaking hilarious stories that I tell people. Like, I can't even believe this happened. So I decided when we were splitting off into rooms to stay in a room with my friend Charisse and my friend Dave, because we could fit 3 in a room. And so the 3 of us were, you know, ooh, yay, this would be fun, slumber party. So we had our room, and one night, I think it was the first night, Charisse and I were getting ready for bed. We both wore contact lenses, and so we were both like washing our face, taking out our contacts, and Dave had said, hey guys, I'm going to go out and like get something to drink, I'll be right back, or I can't remember what he said. So he leaves, and Charisse and I are just in the bathroom, which was right next to the front door. Now, we were not the only people there. There were actually some other tourists that weren't a part of our group that were there, and some were in the room right next to us. So in the bathroom, hear the door open, and I think it's Dave, and I had been waiting to tell him something. So I said, hey Dave, and I step out of the bathroom, and the person that is standing there, at first I'm expecting Dave, so the first thing I think is, where are Dave's clothes? And then I realize it's not Dave. It is just a stark naked Estonian man. I think it was the guy from next door. Not only is he completely naked, he's holding a fire extinguisher. He's very, very drunk. And I swear it seemed like 15 minutes, but it must have only been like 20 seconds. Just like we're staring at each other, and I don't know what to say, and finally I just blurted out, wrong room. And he's like, oh, sorry. And then he leaves. And Charisse had come out and seen this too, and we're just like, what just happened? Crazy person. And so when Dave came back, we were both like talking to him at the same time, like, there's a naked guy, and he came in, he had a fire extinguisher, and we almost died, and we were just freaking out. And it was so funny, and I still don't know why he was naked and why he was holding a fire extinguisher. He was super drunk. Maybe those are the only reasons. But anyway, that was one of the crazy things. Like, did that happen? That just happened. It was so weird. Could not believe it. Anyway, that was a pretty funny thing. So our last night on Hiiumaa, we stayed up really, really, really late. We really liked this place. We used the sauna. A bunch of people were in the bar. And yeah, I got like an hour of sleep, and we were supposed to get up and leave the next morning, but it was already morning for me, and we were heading back to the mainland after that. And some people stayed up so late and were still like dead asleep that we almost missed like our ferry time, everything. It was a really long ferry ride, so most of us were sleeping or had hangovers the next day. It was pretty crazy, but it was a very, very fun time. Both of those islands were pretty cool. So anyway, I'm going to stop this video, and next time we will continue on. Once we hit the mainland, I'll tell you more about what we did. Alright, see you later.